show. It is Thursday, December 14th, right at 3 o'clock. Hopefully you survived the snow today, a little bit unexpected for many people, so difficult getting to places early this morning. Hopefully you're faring well today. So we have a action-packed show as usual, and I'd like to say hello and welcome to Kristen McRae of Organizing in Our Eye. She is our organizing and efficiency expert. Kristen, hello, how are you?
Hey Molly, how are you?
You made it here safe and sound,
Yes,
so
I did.
we're good about that.
Yes.
We're thankful about that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been talking over the past couple weeks just about getting ready for the holidays, organizing, and today we're kind of switching it up a little bit. So this kind of applies all year round.
Yes.
We're talking about something fun today. 9 organizing mistakes that you don't want to make.
Exactly, that you don't want to make. Yes.
You don't want to make.
Yeah.
What kind of brought you to this subject? What made you think about this?
Working with clients all these years, I find there's little nuances that people do when we're getting them, when I'm helping them get organized, and it's like I pick up on these little things and everybody does them. So these, I don't even want to call them mistakes because I don't like that word mistakes, but I really don't know what else to call it. But just know that everybody that I help get organized is this. They do the same things over and over again. So everybody's making these same mistakes. So that's how I decided to come up with this topic, because so many people are doing it that I said, you're going to relate to this today. If you're disorganized out there watching, you're going to say, oh my God, I do that. And so you're going to find these little things. You're going to know that everybody's doing them. So
just
you're not alone.
9 things you don't want to do when you're trying to get organized. Okay,
Right.
so let's get going here.
Okay.
So number 1,
Yes.
not planning for your project.
So many people will decide on a Thursday afternoon that they want to get organized, and like 2 hours later they have to be somewhere. Not good. You want to plan this project out. You want to do this at the best time when you're working your best, when you have the least amount of distractions. You don't want to do this when you know the phone's going to be ringing or somebody's pulling you out of your office to do something. You want to do this when you have no distractions, where you can sit in a room for 3 hours, 1 to 3 hours, if you're doing this by yourself with no, the phone away, the computer away, and you want to plan for it. Put it on the schedule, put it on your calendar. You want to be able to know when you're going to do this project so you can prepare yourself for it.
I like that, and definitely write it out. We've talked about this a
Yeah.
bunch. Get your planner,
Get
mark
your plan.
things down,
Yes.
turn off the phone, turn off the distractions, turn off social media.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just don't get it done.
Yeah, especially those distractions like kill everybody. Those distractions are something where they come up and your project's going to take longer than it should. So do this when you don't have any distractions and plan ahead for it. You don't want to do this like on a Saturday and then have to go out to a party 2 hours later. You'll be exhausted. So you want to mentally prepare and physically prepare to get organized.
Okay. Number 2, placing things in a temporary spot. Who's not guilty of this?
So many people do this and they'll say, Kristen, I'm going to put this here for a minute. I'm like, no, because that, and you say, I'll take care of it later. But later never comes because something else gets thrown at you and you take care of that. So when you're putting things away, be mindful. That's why we create these good systems, because whether it's putting a file away or putting something away in the kitchen or in your closet, hanging up your clothes, little things like that, don't say you'll get to it later. Don't find a temporary spot for it, because then those piles will form in that temporary spot, and now it's going to take you longer to get those systems in place and get you where you need to be, because now you have more of a mess to clean up. So once you have those good systems, practice like maintaining those systems and being like mindful of putting things away.
So the kitchen table shouldn't just be the permanent home.
No.
It should also not be the temporary home.
Right. Or that dining room table that you need to start clearing now for the holidays. It has all your paper on it, where if you just had that good system in place for paper and filed it throughout the year, you wouldn't have to waste time cleaning up the dining table now.
The junk drawer.
Same thing, yes.
All those notorious spots.
Yeah, and that's what it is, the junk drawer, the dining room table.
Garage.
The
basement.
garage. The closet, every space, if there aren't any good systems in place, you're going to have a problem in finding a home for those things.
Okay, number 3, not letting people know about your systems.
So this happens a lot. You'll get organized, but you won't let your family members or whoever else lives with you in on the system. So what happens is they go to put something away, but they're not aware of the system, so they just throw. So once you get organized, you need to get everybody on board with this process and say, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, this is where things go now, there's labels, and just get everybody incorporated in the process, let everybody know what's going on, so that way in a month later, you don't have to like clean up this mess of following everybody around behind everybody trying to pick things up. So get everybody on board with this system and get everybody functioning the way you are with this new system.
Yeah, I mean, just communication within the household is
That's all it is. It's
always
communication.
appropriate.
That's all it is. Communication.
Okay. So, and you said to have a family meeting, which I think is a great idea.
I
Just
always
get
say
everybody on board.
yes. Get everybody on board. I don't know how many people, I mean, even today, does everybody eat together anymore? I don't know. Like, everybody's running around, in all different areas. No one's ever getting together. But really take the time, if you really want this organization to work in the house, you really need to have a family meeting and talk about not only what you've done, but why you've done it. Discuss the benefits and why this is going to be great for the family.
Okay, wonderful. Number 4. Thinking a product will fix the problem.
It's
We
a
love
big
that
one,
yeah.
too. Everybody, like I said, we talked about this before. Everyone runs out to the Staples, Bed Bath & Beyond, the Container Store, wherever you are getting your supplies. You get so excited and you think, oh my God, this pretty bin that looks really pretty, but it might not be functional, but it looks pretty. I'm gonna buy it and take it home and fill it with stuff.
Because then you just throw everything in it.
Exactly.
It becomes your another junk drawer.
Yeah, exactly. But it's pretty though. That's what it's pretty. But no, I always tell people you have to get organized first, put out your piles, categorize everything, then look at what you have and say, okay, let's look at the space, let's look what I have, measure the space, height, width, length, and then let's go buy a product that's going to fit what we actually have. And people think that bin will solve everything, just like a bin, but bins are tough because bins become drop spots, and bins you say, I'm just going to throw it in the bin, and it's going to go in the bin, where there's no real system to the bin, everything just gets thrown in the bin. So bins are tough. There's so many great organizing products out there, but don't think that just by running out and getting excited to get organized and buying all these products that it's going to solve your problem. It's the system that's going to solve your problem, not the product.
Okay.
Well, ultimately it will be the product, but it's the system that's going to help you get the product you need.
Get the system first,
Mm-hmm.
and then get the product. Maybe you don't need a product. Maybe you already have something.
Sometimes you don't need a product.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Maybe
A lot of offices I organize, people are like, I need to go buy all these supplies. I'm like, no, wait, because you're probably not using the supplies that you have properly. So what we do is after everything gets categorized, I say, oh my God, you have this file, this will be great to use, or this piece. So don't rush out. You might not even need anything.
You might not need anything, and if you do need something, you want to make sure you measure as well.
Yeah, it's big, measuring.
Measuring.
You want those pieces to fit like a puzzle in the spot that you're organizing.
Okay, so let's recap and continue forward. We're talking about 9 organizing mistakes that you don't want to make. So number 5 on the list, having your friends help you. Friends are great, but they can also just make things even worse.
Yeah, sometimes they can, and a lot of people say, well, I had my friend come over and she just organized it and I didn't maintain it. And you didn't maintain it because your friend came in and organized things the way she wanted them organized, not the way you organize them, or you want to organize. You want to take the time to talk out a system, talk it through. How are you functioning, what's working, what's not working, how do you grab things. It's a big conversation. So when your friend comes in, it's more like, yeah, let's do it my way, this is how I do it. And then the friend leaves and you're like, oh my God, I'll never be able to maintain this, or you don't really know the system well. That's why having an expert come in, sits with you and talks to you and talks it through, and will develop those systems for you and how you function in your lifestyle. So sometimes having a friend isn't the best thing to do. I mean, it's fun, but and then again, it's your distractions. You're distracted because you're talking, and it becomes fun but not functional, and not, there could be a better way to do it.
Okay, so if your friend is helping you, make sure that you're actually doing what you need to do, not just doing it your friend's way, because then it's never going to work out.
Exactly.
Okay, the next step, which I think is number 6, my numbers got messed up here.
I did.
Bouncing around, a mistake you don't want to make when you're organizing.
This is a big one. So again,
I'm guilty of this in everything I do, bouncing around.
So
Focus is hard.
it's with the ADD, people who get distracted easily. What happens is I always keep my clients focused. Like, you need to be focused on one thing. If you see something shiny, you can't get distracted and say, I'm going to put this here for a minute, or go into the other room. The minute you leave the room you're organizing, you're going to get distracted and lose focus. You need to stay on task. So many of my clients can't stay on task. So when I come in, I literally hold them in that room for 3 hours. If they want to leave the room, I'm like, no, you can't leave. Or if they go, I have to go chase them to come back in, bring them back in. So it's all about keeping you on task during this time. So staying focused and not getting distracted. Bouncing around, you waste energy. And then 3 hours later, you're exhausted. Where if you just stayed on task for 3 hours, you'd be refreshed after because you accomplished something. So many people bounce around. When you don't have a plan, you bounce around. When you don't have, know what you're, not that you don't know what you're doing, but when you don't know what step is next, you bounce around. And you waste energy that way.
You waste energy, and also a lot of times when you're bouncing around, it's because you just simply don't want to do it.
That too. Yeah, no,
just
it's
don't
true.
want it.
You're
You're like,
avoiding it.
you're
So
avoiding
yeah.
it,
So when I work with my clients, it's like, no, we're staying here and we're gonna get this done.
Yeah, so you make it a mission to get it done. So I think that's a great
Yeah.
strategy. And also part of having the plan is if you have the plan, then you know what to do. So
Right.
and it can be really exhausting just bouncing around. So like you said, not wasting
You
energy.
burn yourself out really quick.
Okay, so the next mistake that you do not want to make is repurposing. Now we talked a little bit about
Yes.
repurposing and how it can actually be great, but you're saying take a step back and think about things.
Yeah, so repurposing is great. I encourage it. If you have a bookshelf somewhere else in the house that you're not using, bring it into another room. But so many times people will say, I found this piece, and people say, I on the side of the road, or I found it in an antique store and I fell in love with it. But then you bring it in the house and there's no purpose for it. You really love it, or even the piece you have in your home you really love and you really want it to work in another area of your home, but sometimes you love that piece so much, just like with the product, that there's really no system that you can work to help you become more efficient. Remember, it's all about becoming more efficient and more productive. So if that piece really doesn't, you love it, but it doesn't work for what you need it to, then there's no sense of even repurposing it in that room or bringing it into the house to begin with. So really think about that piece and how you can be more efficient and productive with it.
Because otherwise it's just...
The system will fail.
It's just taking up space, too.
Yes.
So be
And sometimes it's
conscious
not,
of
they
it.
want to put it in the room, but the room, it's too small for the room or it's too big for the room, so.
Okay.
Hmm.
So just think about it. All right.
about it.
Perfectionism. That's a big
That's a
one.
big
That can
one.
be really tough.
This is a big one because so many people, not that they'll waste time, but again, they spend a lot of time focused on one, like let's take the closet for instance, you're folding clothes in the closet. They get so focused on making it perfect, folding it just right, it needs to go right here in this spot, that now an hour's gone by, you haven't made any decisions, and you're stressed out, overwhelmed, and now you just like burnt yourself out. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get started. Make, their closet, you can make your systems, develop your systems, but you can make it perfect later. Like get the systems in and function with it. Nobody says it has to be perfect. But so many people that are perfectionists, this is sometimes why they never get organized, because it's never a good time to start. They want it to be the perfect time to start. They want everything to look perfect, but it's never going to be perfect, because as long as you're functioning and you're efficient and productive, that's all that matters. And you want it to look nice, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So if you're on the fence now with the new year coming about starting to get organized and they're like, oh, it's just not the right time, just start. Just start somewhere, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like Martha Stewart. I don't think anybody's home looks like, unless you're not living in your home.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's important too, like you mentioned, is that you can always go back and tweak it how you would like it to be. So just getting it started, get the systems in place is really a great place to start. And then you can always go back. There's always time, like you said.
Yeah.
There's always time.
Yes.
All right. So the next one, I like this one. Too much furniture. I love this.
So I see this a lot too. People feel they need to fill every inch of their home with something. You do not need to fill every corner of your home with furniture. You don't need to have every wall filled with things. It doesn't have to be that way. Fill it with a nice plant, some like pretty foliage or anything like alive that will bring good energy into the home. If you have an empty corner, don't feel like you need to fill it. That's a big one. A lot of people feel like they need to fill every space with a piece of furniture or a bookshelf or a chair, or it doesn't have to be like that. Just fill it with a plant. The space is okay. It'll let energy flow through your home better, when there's a lot of stuff in the room, the energy doesn't have anywhere to go.
So stop filling things up with too much furniture.
Yes.
Okay, I love that. So Kristen just helped us with 9 mistakes when you're getting organized that you do not want to make.
Right.
Awesome. I love that. Kristen, thank you so much for helping us get organized, become more efficient, especially as we head into the new year. So you can always check out her articles on golocalprov.com. You can check out her website. She writes for us weekly as well as coming on the show weekly. So check her out. She will be helping many more people coming in the new year. So make sure you check that out. Do you have any organizers left? Any planners
I have
left?
2 planners left.
All right.
And actually, I'm going to have them on sale right now, actually, $39.
Okay, so get one of her planners because they're awesome, and you can check out the whole thing that we did on our website as well on the planner. So check those out. She has 2 left. I highly recommend it. Kristen, thank you so much.
Thanks, Molly.
Everyone, please hang tight as we get ready for our next guest here on Go Local Live.